All right, good afternoon. Welcome to our annual Handbell concert for the holidays. We're honored this year to have 3 different choirs with us, so that's something brand new. The choirs joining for this concert are the Grace Notes from the First Lutheran Church. They're sitting. And the First Presbyterian Church Handbell Choir. They're directed by Tommy Kent, and I forgot to let you know that the First Lutheran Church is directed by Melissa Johns, that choir. And the JuBELLation Choir from the First Methodist Church, standing behind the tables ready to go, and they're directed by a new director this year, Bryn Griffith. Each ringer today that you will hear has been called to serve in this wonderful music ministry, and we are all blessed to be here together. Please take a moment to to close your eyes and slow down from the very busy holiday hustle bustle. Yes, this means turning off your cell phones. Remember the true meaning of Christmas and allow our music to open your hearts and minds to God's presence in our lives. Grace Notes Bell Choir from the First Lutheran Church is especially honored to be here with us today. The name Grace Notes is derived from the musical term grace note, which serves as an embellishment with no real-time value of its own. It borrows from the note that follows. As in any handbell choir, the choir cannot function without each ringer, and the contribution of each individual ringer is meaningless apart from the entire choir. Our purpose is to weave our songs into each worship service as a way to give thanks and praise to God for calling us to serve in this way. Grace Notes received their brand new 3-octave set of Schulmerich handbells and hand chimes in May of this year. All of the development and planning was handled by Melissa Johns, their director. A few of the ringers were available throughout the summer to begin practice, but as you would guess, the full choir was not available until September. That's correct. This choir began in September, and now it's December, just 3 months. They consist of people from all walks of life, with only 1/3 of the ringers being able to read music and 1 ringer unable to see. Nevertheless, they began their music ministry and worship as a choir called to serve through the song of prayer. Their joy is in ringing out the good news that celebrates the abundant goodness of our concert master, the Lord Jesus Christ. The JuBELLation Handbell Choir, based here at the First United Methodist Church, is in its 10th year together, with many of the current ringers being part of the original choir that began in 1996. The choir plays on a 5-octave set of Schulmeric handbells with 3 octaves of hand chimes, although they may not always have enough ringers for all 5 octaves. They practice 1 2-hour session per week and participate in at least 1 worship service monthly. Community outreach is also a part of their ministry, especially during the month of December. They most enjoy spreading their music ministry in any way that will advance the musical art of handbell ringing. They have performed in many venues such as First Night Missoula, a ringer's wedding, University of Montana's homecoming parade, 3 different elementary schools, Paws Up Resort, and at St. Patrick Hospital. JuBELlation's greatest blessing this year is the addition of a new director, Bryn Griffin. Bryn brings many years of handbell ringing to the choir since she began ringing as a child when she could barely see over the tables. She has rung in several choirs as she was growing up in Billings, one of which includes Bellissimo, an audition-only community-based choir. We are very thankful that she has decided to join in our ministry in Missoula. JuBELLation will perform We Three Kings. First Presbyterian Handbell Choir originally began in 1980 with a 2-octave set of Malmark handbells. They first began ringing on medical exam tables like you would see in a doctor's office. Hard to believe, but it's true. The director had handwritten some of the music on large white poster board, which was placed on the first pew for the ringers to read. Currently, the choir plays on a 5-octave set of Malmark handbells. They rehearse weekly and perform monthly for services at Missoula's First Presbyterian Church. The mix of ringing experiences ranges in age, or is from as short as 3 months to as long as 30 years. Yeah. Who's 3 months old up here? They regularly ring with 10 very dedicated ringers, 4 of whom are also members of the singing chancel choir. Occasionally, the choir is blessed with the many kids returning home on college vacations, and what a joy it is to have them home ringing once again. Community outreach is a part of their music ministry, and they're planning to share their music this spring with smaller congregations in the Swan Valley. The First Presbyterian Handbell Choir is organized and directed by Tommy Kent. Tommy was very disappointed that she was unable to participate today. She is a busy person handling all the preparation for this event, and she also plays in the Bozeman Symphony and in the Missoula Symphony. And today is one of their concert days. Bryn has agreed to conduct the choir in God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. The next section of the concert will be performed by two different ensembles. Ensembles are slightly different from playing in the full handbell choir. When you're in the full handbell choir, you are normally responsible for two notes or white keys on a piano, as well as the corresponding sharps and flats. There are always exceptions to this, such as the bass bells you have heard today, and the upper treble bells with two in each hand, called four in hand. In an ensemble, you normally need to reset the bells a little closer since you are responsible for a range of bells. This requires you to move up and down the table. Sometimes you even have to pass a bell to your neighbor ringer or reach around a neighbor ringing. Ensembles come in many different combinations: duets, trios, quartets, and more. The Grace Notes Ensemble will be playing Angels from the Realms of Glory. The Christmas Trio will be performed with two ringers ringing four bell trees and piano accompaniment.
Okay, well, we're having a minor technical issue getting these trees together. As you can see, bells can be played in many different ways, and the tree is one of the most impressive but the hardest to put together and get set up. So, while they're working on that, I just thought I'd come and say good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for coming. As you've heard, my name is Bryn Griffin, and I'm the Handbell Director for JuBELLation. And it's so wonderful to see so many people coming out to support these three choirs. This has been a big cooperative and organizational effort, and we're so happy to pull it off and see you all here. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Here are some of the basics to know about handbell ringing. Is there anybody here who has never heard a handbell choir play before? Raise your hand if this is your first one. Well, welcome. We're so happy to see you here and glad that you've come to join us on this wintry afternoon. As a handbell ringer, you're normally supposed to have two bells, which each bell is one note that you're responsible for, including the corresponding sharps and flats that go with those notes. And if you've noticed today, we have several people playing multiple bells, usually up top or in the bass, or the bell tree is a good idea, but most of the time, everyone has 2 notes that they're responsible for. And if you can't quite wrap your mind around how this works, think about an orchestra where each violinist would have 2 notes to play and all those runs that they do. Or a piano where each person is poking 1 note, trying to play a full song. And that's sort of what we do to cooperate and create the music that you hear for handbells. The sheet music that we use resembles piano music. It's written on both treble and bass staff, but it has many more notes than any pianist I know could ever play. A little bit about JuBELLation. Our bell choir practices from September through May each year, and I think it's the same for the other 2 choirs here today. And every fall when the choir returns, there's always something new. In our choir, we've had quite a few changes this year. 4 ringers who didn't return this year, which meant that it's going to be a building year. Plus, we had me, the new director, stepping in, so it's been interesting. But we have been very, very fortunate with the addition of 4 new ringers. We have Cindy, the old choir director, who's still graciously with us, and also Diane and Lorraine are going to be joining us for the spring session. We're very excited about that. But I'm also still ringing, which means that we're recruiting. If anyone is interested, please come up afterwards, ring a bell, just see what it feels like to have one in your hand. I know any one of these folks up here would be more than happy to talk with you about it. I would also like to take this time to quickly introduce the pastor from this church. Barry, are you here? He's up in the balcony. Okay, well, we wanted to thank you because without your support, this wouldn't have been possible. And we have the gracious use of the Methodist Church this afternoon for the concert. So thank you, Barry, for that. getting set for the next one because it just takes almost as much time to take the bell trees apart as it does to put them together. I'd like to say that in past years, the JuBELLation Handbell Choir has been continuing our fundraising efforts in order to replenish the funds that we need to send the original 3 octaves back to the Schulmerich factory to get refurbished and revamped and make sure that they're still sounding good. And I also want to emphasize that both Grace Notes and the First Presbyterian choirs are also accepting donations at this concert. So if you would like to donate to one of those 2 choirs, feel free to come up afterwards, and there will be a basket by their tables so that you can put your donations in there. During this song, we'll be passing baskets for donations for the JuBELLation Handbell Choir. As the basket comes down your aisle, please consider a tax-deductible donation. And again, thank you so much for being with us today, and enjoy the rest of the concert.
Our next selection does require some audience participation. There are some special antlers being passed out for this next piece. If you would like to participate, please raise your hand. This next selection is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. As we enter this holiday season, I ask that you reflect on this time of giving thanks, of giving of your friendship, and sometimes of just pausing to listen to others in need. I ask that you reflect on those individuals who may not be as fortunate as you or I, Maybe you know someone who has gone through cancer treatments this year, or you know someone who has lost a family member, or someone who has several medical problems making it difficult to make ends meet, or someone who has become unemployed. We thank God for all that we have today. God chooses to come through all who will make room and provide homage. As we continue to face difficult economic times, take a moment to remember the men and women who have served or continue to serve our country. Those who have gone before us, those who so desperately need our help. All of the musicians before you, pray for you and your families as they play each note, each melody or harmony line, and each song. Our prayer is through our music, and each one of us has been called to serve in this special way. Christmas is most truly Christmas when we celebrate it by giving the light of love to those who need it most. We all wish each one of you have a heaven-blessed Christmas. May the loving kindness and the true spirit of the birth of Jesus Christ cause us to pause and reflect. As we return to our homes this evening, remember that there are many people who cannot be with their families this holiday season. Be thankful for what we have and invite others to share in this glorious season. Please join us in singing two verses of Joy to the World. We're invited to go up and ring a bell if we want.